The restaurants themselves aren't exactly the concern of the city. More so, it's the people congregating in them. Now, one university has told their students not to leave campus.
We want to send a message to the public in general, follow precautions. We are in the red alert.
A rise in COVID cases in the Elm City and a recent spike at Yale University has the prestigious school upping their COVID alert status. They are strongly advising students to remain on campus.
To hold back and to stay on campus is a wise decision. We are seeing an increase in positive cases among that age group.
Yale's COVID status went to an orange alert after a spike in 20 cases. They are requiring students in 3 residential colleges to quarantine. They believe the cases are related to dine-in restaurants. 6 COVID positive students had recently visited El Amigo Felix on Whaley Avenue.
They have complied and have done and followed all the health and safety measures. And we have no concerns at this juncture.
Other institutions reporting cases or multiple isolations in the last week include Southern Connecticut State University, Albertus Magnus College, and Gateway Community College. A number of city officials in multiple departments, ranging from the city clerk's office to first responders, have tested positive. Currently, 15 New Haven police officers and 21 firefighters are in quarantine.
We're evaluating more deeply what each department is doing to make sure that we reduce the number of people that are likely to get exposed if we have a positive case.
New Haven is putting together a planning committee for mass vaccination efforts. The 3-phase rollout would begin with essential employees before expanding deeper into the communities. The first batch of vaccines could be coming soon.
They are trying to get an emergency approval for the end of November, so we'll see.
Pfizer believes that a vaccine could be readily available to the public by the end of the year, although there is no timeline for distribution in Connecticut. Now, the one thing the city officials here in New Haven are saying is that those of high risk will be prioritized. In New Haven, Dave Puglisi, Fox 61 News.